Okay, welcome to another episode of Rainbow Jesus 3000. We're glad you came back.
It's a good one today. You know the format, so what we're doing is I have something we're going to talk about. This guy has no idea. Makes for a good time. I think today's going to be a good one. And should we just dive right into it?
No, because we should tell you who we are first. My name's Cody.
And I'm Terry.
There, now you know a little bit about us. Now let's start.
So the premise for today is I once again stumbled across a really interesting article, and I thought it made for fantastic content.
Okay.
So what's happening is, and I've actually read multiple articles of this exact same story, so this is a legit story, okay?
Okay.
1557, Roman Catholic Church on January 1st in the Italian town of Calcutta, something like that.
Something.
They have a parade, and the feature of the parade is the legitimate foreskin of Jesus.
Why?
The story gets better, but literally,
Okay.
January 1st, every year, they parade since 1557,
Okay.
Jesus' foreskin
They
from
know.
his circumcision.
They know this is his.
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Okay? Fast forward to 1987. In the 80s, I think it's 87.
That's okay. 30 years
It got stolen
Oh no! Jesus' foreskin was stolen.
by the Vatican.
All right.
The Vatican. All right.
All right.
All right. So I have a cherry on top still yet, which we'll get to halfway through.
Okay.
But I mean, is this not enough content to start talking?
Why?
Like, first of all,
What do you need it for?
that's kind of what I'm thinking here. Like, isn't it a little bit ridiculous? Like, doesn't it feel a little bit touristy? You know what I mean?
Hold on.
Like gimmicky?
I feel like I just need to process what I'm about to dive into here.
This is exactly why we do this show.
That's true.
Is it not?
That's true.
Is it not? So, first of all, the whole idea of, I feel like we are almost making money off of like random Jesus artifacts. I feel like is what's happening.
Well, okay.
Like, why would, like,
Okay.
why
Well,
else would you start, why else would you have a parade for this?
True. Well, what do they have a reason why they do? What is it?
I didn't read that far. I just read the cherry on top.
I didn't get to that point. I was laughing
So-
too much already.
But I mean, I feel like everything has been, I mean, have you been to Israel before?
No,
I feel like-
I've been close.
Okay, so I feel like everywhere in Israel, this is the place that this happened. This is the place that happened. This is,
Yeah.
you know, the goblet he drank from before he died. This
Okay.
is,
Yeah. Okay, so I've been to Egypt, and they definitely have that in Egypt. Is like this place is that, and this place is that, and
so I don't know. I feel like the whole thing is a bit gimmicky, which I think has kind of been a stain on the Christian church
yeah.
for, I think, hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Why else would you have to parade around a foreskin? And this happens year after year since the 1500s.
I can just imagine the costumes people want to dress up as, and like they want to make a costume of I am the foreskin,
Yeah.
but like what?
So I don't know.
What does that look like?
Like, I'll be very honest. I feel like I'm very happy circumcision was a big deal in the New Testament. Like, the apostles made a big deal about circumcision, as in, we don't got to do this anymore.
Okay.
Like, can you imagine in Canada in 2020, okay, you're now unsaved. And I'm, you're hitting rock bottom, and, I'm super spiritual. I'm going to get you saved. So we have a good heart to heart, okay, me and you, and it's emotional. You're vulnerable, and you know what? You're gonna go for it. You're gonna get this free gift of going to heaven, and we do this fantastic prayer, right? And you're tears in your eyes, and we're hugging. And almost like in Wedding Crashers, which I do not condone. Kayla, scissors! And I have to go now and get some scissors and snip your wiener. Because that's part of Christianity.
Okay, I have not followed where we got to. Why is your wife getting scissors?
If we hadn't dealt with circumcision in the New Testament, we would
Okay.
still be obligated to circumcise you
Okay.
if you wanted to go to heaven.
Oh.
Can you imagine? You're having emotional tears, and now suddenly we do the prayer, and then I gotta holler and get my crafting scissors from last night.
Right then and there?
I don't know. You want to get saved, don't you?
I guess you don't want to leave it overnight.
So, what if Jesus comes back before you snip?
True.
So, aren't you not happy we dealt with that?
Yes.
Aren't you happy it was a big deal? Like, I read a lot about circumcision in the New Testament, and I think that was that would have been a bad marketing move to keep that part of the deal.
Yeah. So I have a friend who he got circumcised when he was 7 years old.
That's already traumatizing.
Yeah. I was like, he was telling me the story and just like wild story, and I'm just like, I can't imagine being 7. Like, you're in
Is it here in
school,
Canada?
right?
Who did it?
No, it was a different country.
Is it here in Canada? I feel like you need a permit to do that. I feel like
Go apply for a permit.
the pastor needs a license and a permit to do that.
I don't know if a pastor would do it.
That's my point. I think here, you do that. Jeez Louise.
That's, yeah.
Okay, so why do you think the Vatican will have stolen this
Oh,
foreskin?
boy. Well, do you bother talking about that, or do you bother talking about the fact that they stole something? That's not Christian to steal.
They stole it from the Roman Catholic Church itself. It's almost like stealing from
Christians
yourself.
stealing from Christians.
Irony is
Good job,
thick.
guys.
Yeah. I don't know. Ponder. What do you think? I'll give you a few cracks at it. I mean,
Well, I don't. It doesn't seem like anything that we should care about. Really, like, yeah, it's a big deal, but
once again, somewhere in the Vatican, there was a board meeting.
yeah.
And Ernie looks over to Francis and says, "Dude, I vote to steal the foreskin. All in favor,
All in
say
favor, say aye.
aye." Motion passed.
Oh,
Carried, right?
Oh boy.
It happened. There was a vote, right?
Okay, so did they have to like send a spy in there to go get it? How does that work?
The articles I read didn't talk about how they stole it. It was just all the evidence was pointing very strongly to the Vatican. And then
So, like, do they have proof that they actually have it now?
apparently yes, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like tabloid because there's a lot of different articles about this that are
Okay.
all very similar, like respectable ones. But very recently or shortly after, I guess, it became, you could become excommunicated or like chucked out of the church for talking about this foreskin.
Talking about that they have it, or talking about
Just in general, Jesus' foreskin, his circumcised foreskin.
I wonder what it looks like.
After
Like,
what?
is it just like a wrinkly rubber band?
It must, right? Because it's 2,000 years old.
Well, I mean, after, like, I still have, or my mom has my umbilical cord, and that's just like it's a wrinkly, dried out piece of yuck.
Like a raisin?
No, it's not. It's flatter than that. Like, it still has a little bit of length to it. What would it be like?
Like a dried fruit? Like a peach?
It doesn't have that much volume.
Oh, but
think of like a long piece of dried skin.
the article I read, they found it in a shoebox.
That's where I would keep mine too.
So like it's not like they had this thing in some cryogenic high tech.
Can you imagine if it was in like one of those Christmas shoe boxes that we make?
Jeez.
There's another thing of toothpaste beside it.
It's gotta be. Do you think it? Like, so I watched some Egyptian stuff. They're not mummifying this thing. It's probably just what, in like a sawdust container and done.
It can't be still real. Like, some animal would have sniffed that out and eaten it by now.
I don't know. I feel like I didn't even know this going into this episode. Your mom kept your umbilical cord.
Surprise!
So Jesus' mother Mary very likely could have kept similar stuff, right?
You should have studied that. Is that a thing in that day and age? Did they keep the foreskin? Like,
as proof of
do you
this
give that
person's a Jew?
to the parents-in-law when they're getting married? Here you go.
He's certified Jew? Like,
Yeah.
it was how you certified Jew, right? You could get snipped.
Well, I don't think it was snipped then. I think it was like rock crush.
What? Boy.
They sharpen a rock. Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
Did they have sharp? No, that's the other
They
thing.
had
didn't.
swords. They had knives from a very long time ago.
Yeah,
They're
but
very good at warfare.
at that point, I don't know. Did Jesus have a well? No, Paul had a sword because he cut up someone's ear off,
Are you
right?
asking if there was swords in the Roman times?
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we've got weapons figured out real early. I think.
Okay.
And Cain kills Abel and goes, "I got to do this better next time."
Okay, I saw a really funny meme that was the whole like guns don't kill people, people kill people,
Right.
And they're like, what happened before guns came around? People still killed people, and it's just a guy on a horse stabbing another guy. It's like it's not the guns.
That's history.
That's yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so why do you think the Vatican will have stolen the foreskin?
Oh man,
What would some plausible things?
I don't know enough about the Vatican to know. Maybe I don't know. I just
Like, I feel like, and I don't.
like a publicity stunt, maybe, or
Right.
they want to hold all the artifacts of Jesus so they can control all of that stuff.
Okay, a bit of control. I want the actual history and control it, and then pimp it out however I want to. Like, this museum gets it, that one gets it, right?
Yeah.
So control.
Mm-hmm.
That's very fair.
Could be. It could be a power thing.
The priests just piss off the wrong guy at the Vatican, and
I guess so. I don't know. But like, it just seems weird to like the chief. I don't know the word.
the Pope.
Sure, the Pope to just go, yep, steal that. In the name of the Lord, you can steal the Lord's foreskin. It just seems counter-Christian.
Definitely, right?
So, is it true? Is it, who knows? I guess that's why we're talking about it.
Yeah, definitely. Huh.
I don't know where I stand on it.
Okay, that's the next question then is there a good enough reason to steal it if you're the Pope or the Vatican?
I personally don't think so.
There's just no reason why you'd steal this thing, so it's just flat out bad, eh?
I mean, I don't know why you would keep it.
That's exactly my thought. I don't know why you keep it.
I don't see how that adds any value to Christians today. Now, I don't know, like I'm not part of the Catholic Church, so I don't know, maybe there's some tradition stuff there.
Aren't they very traditional? Like
They're
a
very
lot of
traditional.
So maybe I mean, I'm not Orthodox Jew. If you are, you can let me know.
Do you know why they keep the foreskins? Tell us.
There's got to be a reason. It can't just be for fun.
Maybe they string it on a string like popcorn at Christmas time.
Well,
Decorate.
David was getting foreskins to buy wives.
Currency. Oh, so
Right.
hold on. If you got Jesus foreskin, what's that puppy worth?
Well, that is truly what I was getting at early is this disgusting tourism industry
Yeah,
that
okay.
the church had, right?
Okay.
So hey, so for example, I think it's is it John Calvin? Is that his name? The guy who started Calvinism?
Sure. Let's go with
Let's call him
that.
John.
John.
He apparently wrote a book where he was disgusted at all the European Jesus artifacts that were out there. So he says like
Okay.
if you bottled up all the milk from Mary's breast milk, it would have been a cow pumping milk for decades. If you would have got all the shards of the cross that are allegedly out there from Jesus' cross, you could have built a massive boat. Like
Okay.
he's saying, like
Okay.
it's obviously some of them are fakes.
Yeah.
I think he was even implying there was a couple of foreskins floating around in Europe at the same time, and he's kind of going, "There's only going to be one, right?
Mhm.
So two are fake." So, I mean, that is unfortunately not a fun part about our Christian past.
True. Well, there's a lot of parts that aren't fun about our Christian past.
Do you want the reason why the Vatican stole this?
You have it?
I have it.
I thought you couldn't read that far.
No, I read that far.
Oh,
and I kept
okay.
it from
All
that.
right. Give it to me.
Okay. So keep in mind when they stole it. It was in the 80s. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And our whole podcast is built around, well, a couple things. Some of the taboo stuff like Jesus foreskin,
Yeah.
but also some of the far out science stuff.
Yeah.
Apparently, the Vatican stole it to prevent people from cloning Jesus.
Oh wow. Okay.
Doesn't that make you go,
Okay.
because it's the only part of Jesus that stayed behind on earth.
Interesting.
The rest of Jesus went up into the clouds.
But that's not true. I bet he got haircuts.
But If there is this piece of skin that's got DNA attached to it.
Oh my Lanta.
Okay, so now you put yourself in the Vatican shoes going, Francis, they're doing it. They're doing what?
See the Pope then?
I don't know. He's a Pope now. So
he wasn't the Pope in the 80s.
They figured it out. What did they figure out? Genetics, DNA.
Yeah.
Clones are happening. Yeah, so that's cool. No. What if they clone another Jesus? Right?
Man,
and so he's going,
mind fun.
Really?
Thing to
And then we got to steal this thing. For the sake of unity and preventing absolute chaos and preventing what? Another Jesus? Would that be the Antichrist? I don't even know.
Ooh.
Right? I don't even know.
Good thought.
Right?
Interesting.
So all of a sudden the Roman Catholic Church is going, Holy Toledo, we got to steal this thing and it's a heist. Right?
Okay.
And they probably burnt that thing. I don't know. Maybe it's locked away, but if out of any organization on the planet, don't you think they would feel that they would have to make sure that no one clones that thing?
But, I mean, you can't clone God, right? Especially man. Man can't recreate God.
Could you clone another Jesus with his foreskin?
But it's just a physical body.
Is that what we're getting at?
Yeah, you can't clone the spirit of God.
But he has the exact genetic makeup as Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but your spirit doesn't have a DNA.
So you're saying, even if you could...
You just have another body that probably looks really handsome.
You think Jesus looked handsome, eh?
I do. I don't think that he was ugly.
That's an episode. That's a whole other episode.
That should be an episode.
I feel like
what do you think? Do you think Jesus was pretty or was he ugly?
To me, he's like one of those elves from Lord of the Rings who are just quasi, not quite unisex, but just pretty and good looking.
Mm-hmm.
Orlando Bloom, but Middle Eastern.
Middle Eastern Orlando Bloom. All right. Okay.
Okay, so if they get a clone from Jesus' foreskin to make Jesus 2.0, you're saying it's still not Jesus.
No.
I think I agree. It can't be.
You can't clone a spirit. They're done.
I mean, clones in general, if they clone me again, does that clone have its own soul? I think it has to.
That's a good question. Because it's just matter, but you can,
So it's, like, my body is a vessel, in my opinion. It's just flesh, and it's precious, and it's mine. I gotta treat it special, but it's not my soul.
Yeah. That's where I think us as humans, I don't know, you start getting into the conversation of, are we playing God when you start talking cloning and you're creating
But we
stuff.
are so close to clones if they haven't already.
Well, they have.
I kind of think they have. I can't prove it. But.
No, they, University of North Carolina, I think it is. Probably correct me because you're the internet. They've cloned a sheep's heart, which worked for 28 days.
I know the animals have been cloned.
Oh, people-wise. We're talking people-wise. I don't think that's been done yet.
Well, I think you're not allowed to, but are you kidding? I bet you some people have tried, right?
Yeah, that's true. Fun fact, the military, they're 3D printing skin grafts in the field. So the military guys, they get like a big, burn right off, and you need to fix your arm right there in the field. They'll 3D print skin back on your arm.
Yes!
The cool question about that is if you're a white guy, can you get black skin?
Oh.
What, hello new sort of tattoos?
Yeah.
That would be so cool. I haven't looked into it any further than that. I'm big in the 3D printing world, and I know that's I've read that 2 years ago already.
Oh man, now my mind's going.
If we know that the military is doing it now, that means they're already 10 years ahead of whatever we know now. So.
Okay, focus.
Okay.
Probably, I don't know how much time we have. Let's check.
5 minutes, 10 minutes? Oh,
5-10 minutes. Okay.
5 to 10 minutes.
Ish, depending what we want to do here.
Sure.
Back to cloning.
Okay.
Are we saying, for the sake of the episode, that if you get cloned again and there's two of you, they're both individual souls? I gotta save both of you to go to heaven.
I don't think we can clone a soul, and I don't think we can create a soul. So I think you just make a biological creature at that point that might be able to think for itself, but it doesn't have a soul.
Are you wondering if a cloned are you suggesting a cloned person doesn't have a soul?
Because humans aren't God.
So
I believe that only God can create a soul.
So me and my wife can make a baby, and God puts the soul in. Is kind of what your logic is, your reasoning.
That's how I look at that.
So if me and you make a clone baby, yeah,
Okay.
God wouldn't put a soul in that thing
No, I'm not.
because it's not the natural way.
I don't have lady parts.
'Cause it's
So
not
I
the
think
natural way.
you and your wife make a clone. It's just called a child.
Well, it's not clone. It's not identical.
Well,
but I know what you're saying.
You
Yes.
look good. The kid looks good.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. Okay.
pretty close.
So I bet you there's sci-fi movies on this. Maybe not with a Christian perspective, but if like our clones, we don't even bother evangelizing clones because they don't have a soul anyways. We just did an episode on we would evangelize aliens because until you can prove they don't have one,
Yeah, that's true.
let's just evangelize them anyways.
Okay. Okay, well,
Because I would argue, first of all, I kind of by default agree with you, but I would argue that a cloned person would start as a baby again and have a personality and learn like any other human.
I guess I'm thinking of it like if I were to clone myself right now in this physical state where I'm currently at. It's not thinking as a baby and then,
So you're thinking a clone machine, you walk in, the two of you walk out.
yeah, like direct
Okay.
replication.
And I'm thinking of like grabbing a sample of your blood or grabbing your foreskin, whoop, and then petri dish start growing you.
Petri?
Petri.
Putrid?
English is number 2 language, right? Not number 1. And then kind of growing another human almost from scratch, kind of baby up to adult again.
Okay.
But either way,
Right.
but I feel like, so what do you do as a pastor then? You check you're a clone, screw you, get out of here? That doesn't feel very loving.
Huh. Okay, so at that point,
You gotta prove it. I'm not a clone, I'm a real guy.
well, are you just a biological robot at that point?
That's why, okay, you wanna know my personal thought on this? That I can be very wrong, and it's okay if I'm wrong, because I don't know everything. But I kind of feel like if we made clones of humans, I feel like God probably wouldn't put a soul in that person. And that's a strong statement, I know that. And because that is such a controversial idea, I kind of think Jesus is going to come back before we actually clone a human.
I agree 100%. I think,
But if he doesn't, I'm okay being wrong,
yeah.
right? Like, frozen clones are starting to pop up next year and Jesus doesn't come back next year. That's
He's got to have a reason for
That's
it. That's
okay. But that would be a weird, tricky question for me to wrestle with. And I would default to the clone has a soul because I wouldn't want to get it wrong. But I just don't think in the reasoning and logics of how God created the universe that clones would get souls.
Yeah.
But it would feel wrong to just not even bother to evangelize a clone.
Yeah,
Does
that's
not
true.
feel loving.
Like,
Does not
because I just
feel-
get into like I guess you sort of start getting into like artificial intelligence. Somebody has to program that thing to work in a certain way.
Yeah.
So how do you program intuition? How do you program a gut feeling?
Yeah, but a clone isn't a robot.
Isn't it?
No, so a robot is, in my opinion, has electronics in it.
But what's a biological robot?
That's
It's programmable matter.
a cyborg though. Cyborg is half robot, half biological. Splitting hairs. Okay, fine.
At the end of the day, somebody other than God programmed it to work in a certain trajectory, and it's going to
Right.
go that way.
Okay, so we're fighting about whether clones are robots. And at the end of the day, I think a clone is actually flesh and blood. At least a human. Maybe not. Like I think it's a human, but it's just not one made the way God wanted it to be made.
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far, because
Well,
God made us with creativity, and so He wants us to be creative. If
So
we're
is-
creating ourselves again, then God must love that.
Is our clone a pet then?
Ooh, can you imagine a pet me? Wow.
right?
That'd be horrible.
Well, you're saying if it's not human with a soul, but we can invent it anyways, is it just for fun, like a pet? I don't know.
I feel like lots of science is just for fun. Can we do it? Let's find out.
I can't. A clone, a full-grown clone, walking around, dating your daughter,
Oof.
dating my son,
Mm.
right? Like you gotta think here. Like full-on clones are. This is what the Vatican was trying to protect. Is, oh boy, we've got a very complex thing happening here from a church perspective, going clones, and if they clone Jesus' foreskin, now we've got genetically identical Jesus walking around. Maybe he's an asshole, or maybe he's a pro hockey player. I don't know.
We do know that he has an asshole.
We talked about that.
Yeah. Check back to previous episodes to hear that conversation.
But come on, that's what they're trying to protect, is just this gross, weird chaos.
Yeah, I can see humanity or humankind getting into a grotesque, just almost a demonic state over the thing, and like, I don't know.
It's creepy enough already just wrapping my head around clones
Yeah.
dating my son, right?
Yeah.
Right? So never mind, the pastor has to decide if you're going to evangelize and get him saved, which, whatever.
Here we go. Okay, so if a clone marries your son and the two become one under Christ, does Jesus then give them a soul? Do we then create an
I don't
ability
know.
for a
I
soul
don't know.
to come into being?
Do we have to know after this episode? I sure hope not.
I know. I'm not willing to stake
don't think so.
anything on this.
Okay, how about this? If we're going to wrap this episode up.
Yeah.
How do we do that? I feel like we should almost say our opinion on was this a justified heist? Justified heist.
Yeah.
Right? Or we're going to say, you know what? Like my gut shot is stealing any sort of monumental relic. Okay, I would have said no.
I feel like we just stumbled into a new topic of is stealing okay in the right context of,
Well, this is the greater good.
Yeah.
Psychological thing, right?
Well, is it okay then?
I feel like in the context of war, if you're trying to fight evil, Nazi, let's say, then you have the idea of warfare where in that circumstance, maybe there's an okay for killing.
Yeah.
It's a loaded statement, but in the
Very
right
loaded.
context,
Yeah.
in the right scenario, certain groups of people. I'm not allowed to throw you in jail. But a judge is allowed to throw you in jail. He has that power.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel like in the right context, it's probably okay to steal Jesus' foreskin. Because I think they had a really...
Yeah, now that you brought up the point of cloning and all that, like, it can get hairy and messy. And
that's at least, in my opinion, a far lesser wrong than... Well, I think so. Far lesser wrong than cloning that thing.
Yeah.
That would have been absolute anarchy. So, and you can say your opinion, in my opinion, I kind of think in this context, Francis and Ernie and Pablo and whoever was on that round table in the Vatican made the right vote. Let's go get this thing. And I sure hope they burned it. I really do.
Just get rid of it.
Um,
Yeah, because, I mean, even if you don't know for sure if it is Jesus' actual foreskin or not, why bother taking that chance?
Totally.
Right?
And you would have had the vast swaths of Roman Catholics would have probably believed it was legitimate, and they would have believed that clone would have then been complicated.
Yeah.
So I've said my piece. What do you think?
I'm on the same team as you.
Yeah?
I think it's justified in this context. I believe their reasoning is right, or their heart behind the reasoning is correct.
Well, they are tasked with thinking about that. I feel like that is their role. If someone's going to make a decision on that, it probably should be the Vatican.
Yeah, that's true.
They are the most organized religious group from at least the Christian circles, I would think.
So we agree. All the right pieces were in place to steal Jesus' foreskin.
All right, fine. That's good for this.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to this episode. I know. I thought it was a good article. He had no idea what we were talking about, and I think it was worth the chat. Do you want to share a few things?
A few things. So we're filming this on YouTube right now if you're watching this, but if you're listening to this, that means you're probably on Spotify or Apple Music or one of the other ones. So if you're listening and you want to see what we look like in person, head over to YouTube. And if you can't watch YouTube and you want to listen to the next episode, then go to the podcast team. We're on Instagram and Facebook and all those social media things, so go follow us there and ask us all those questions you want to.
We think we're having fun. People are kind of liking what we're doing. We really need you guys to share and let us know, because we don't want to do season 2 if this is bust. But I'm having a lot of fun.
We're both having a lot of fun. We have a lot of ideas for season 2. When season 2 is going to come, we're not sure about that one either.
But you would probably see a bit of a better set and lighting and audio, you name it. So let's hope we get there.
Yeah, so that wraps up this episode of Rainbow Jesus 3000.
We have the conversation.
So your pastors don't have to.